Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about Captain Specializations, give you an overview of each, talk about highlights of each, if they have any, the Starship trait that they unlock when you fully master them, and also, at the very end, tell you which ones you want to use for specific type of builds you might be going for. So first of all, let's talk about secondary primary specializations. So these ones, the first five, the bottom five, have our primary specializations. So they have 4 tiers, and they all have very useful stuff for all 4 tiers. If you select these as a secondary specialization, you only get the first 2 tiers, and the top 3 are specializations that only have 2 tiers, but they are very powerful as secondary specializations. So yep, let's start with Commando. So for Commando, if you want to go into any ground engagements, this is the secondary specialization that you want. Nothing too much to highlight here in terms of abilities, but they are just big flat bonuses, such as, for example, Headshot 2. When you're aiming, you get plus 5% critical chance. That's fantastic. So the bonus here is you get 10% bonus weapon and melee damage, so that's great. And the more you spend, the higher this stat is going to be. And for the Captain Specialization, for the Starship trait, it's Demolition Tapes, which applies a debuff to your target if it's within 2 kilometers, and after 3 of them, it deals a amount of kinetic damage, which is 100% shield penetration. And that's cool. Alright, moving on, Constable. So this one is useful against big bosses, such as Dreadnoughts or NPC Captains, and all of these are both space and ground, so these apply to your target. So if you're using this against small fry, that's the word to use, I wouldn't say it's very that useful, because it marks your foe and only applies these bonuses after 4 seconds. So, and you can see they must be less than 10 kilometers, less than 30 meters on both space and grounds respectively, and the bonus is plus 25%, plus 25 armor penetration versus your antagonist, so your target. So yeah, this is useful maybe against in one-on-one PvP, perhaps, but yeah, only useful if you know you're going to be fighting bosses. And the Starship trait is Arrest, so it significantly reduces your bridge officer abilities cooldowns when you're using when you defeat your current primary target. So again, this is specialized against bosses. Strategist is the one you want to use against. You want to use this. It's one of the best secondary specializations for space. So if you're going to do space engagements, this is one you want to use. Unless you're fighting big bosses, which then you want to use Constable. So the bonus here is plus 10% maximum shield capacity, so that's nice for survivability. And the highlight is diversionary tactics, and this changes depending on if you're using if you're threatening or not. So the ability threatening stance activated, you're threatening. Don't activate it, you don't. And the majority of these abilities do depend, well, not these ones, but do depend on if you are threatening or not. So if you are threatening, you get even more threat, and if you're not, you placate foes. So this is nice, and I use it myself.
Warning, ship is under attack.
So yep, and Unconventional Tactics is the Starship trait, which you get 15% bonus all damage when you use Brace for Impact. So that's cool. That's very nice. Next one is the Command. So this is the first primary specialization we're going to talk about. This one gives you a flat bonus of plus 50% maximum hull or 15% maximum hit points. So this one applies to both ground and space. And unfortunately, it is split, unlike Constable. So you only get half and half, depending on your space and ground, but it's a primary specialization, so that's that. The highlight is Boost Morale and Revitalize, so both space and ground respectively. It removes debuffs and control effects for 4 seconds. So useful against anything that could be controlling you. And the Starship trait is improved command frequency or just command frequency depending on how far you're going for your tiers. Sorry, one moment, I forget which one it is. Yeah, okay, so at one point in the specialization tree, you do get the regular command frequency, which is basically this removes your need to be at 50% hull or lower to use fleet support. So if you want to use your fleet support as soon as you get in combat, for example, or at 100% hull, you can use that Starship trait. So the basic usage of command officers, you can expose your target for more torpedo damage or other exposed attacks. So not very much useful. Some people like to use it, maybe on torpedo builds, but overall not many people use this as a primary specialization. Alright, moving on, intelligence. So this one is extremely useful for DPS builds, weapon DPS builds. So this is the main focus of this is the flanking damage. And the rest is just shield penetration, hull penetration, armor penetration, flanking, and whatnot. So if this gives you bonuses to flanking you already get on ground, and if you're flying a frigate, scout ship, or raider, which does get flanking in space, this also stacks with it. But if you don't have those, this also gives you space flanking. But if it's a secondary specialization, you don't get those. All you get is these, well, things that prevent you from getting destroyed. So, yeah. And the bonus is plus 15 defense rating and dodge chance for ground and space respectively. Not exactly the most good, most useful bonus, but the stuff in here is the highlight. And improved predictive algorithms, sorry, is the Starship trait. And when you use weapon specialized enhancement abilities, such as high yield torpedo, fire at will, beam overload, for example, you get a stack of plus 5 accuracy rating for 30 seconds, and it can stack up to 4 times. Usefulness of this? Not very. So I would skip out on this one. Next one for primary specialization is Miracle Worker. This one is excellent for tanking builds and overall survivability, and for power management. So the bonus is plus 50% max hull regeneration and hit point regeneration. So great for tanking. And the active ability is back in the fight and give her all she's got. So yeah, basically these are big bonuses to hull healing, max hit points, flight turn rate. And the rest, as you can see, you can get heals, bonus healing, critical resistances, and whatnot. So overall, this is very good for tanking. And going the extra mile is the Starship trait, and you get plus 50% increased shield and hull healing, and plus 50% hull hit points for 20 seconds when you use, if you heal above a target that's above 90% hull. So, yep. Pilots, all of these abilities, unlike the previous primary specializations, and also Temporal Operative, which we will talk about in a minute, all of them improve space skills. And this one is overall a lot of fun because it gets 2 active abilities, Rock and Roll, which makes your ship do an aileron roll, which I suppose, how exactly do we say that in space? A thruster roll. So yeah, rolls your ship, makes you completely immune to damage, you get 100% flight speed, and you're also immune to slow, and your turn rate is set to 0 because you're going straight forward. But yeah, this is cool for, well, if you expect some high damage thing coming your way, so just use it, immunize all that damage, and come out unscathed. And you can also use this, for example, in TFOs where you have to do a task that might be interrupted by weapons fire. So there's that. And the other ability is Lone Wolf, which when you activate it, all people on your team will placate foes 10 kilometers around them, and then have all of those focus fire on you. So that might not sound very good, but you get 50% defense rating and it distributes your shield automatically. And of course, yeah, placates the foe, and if they take a certain amount of damage, the placate is removed. And it has one of the best specialization Starship traits. So yeah, plus 2% bonus all damage every 2 seconds while you are at full throttle, and you get a maximum of 20% bonus, so 10 stacks. That translates to 20 seconds being at full impulse, not full impulse, full throttle. I mean, full impulse, full throttle, almost the same thing. And you keep this as long as your throttle is up. And many people like to use this Starship trait. Oh, right. And you get the bonus of 40% flight turn rate. So if your ship is slow, you could use this. And if your ship is fast, makes it faster in terms of turn rate. Alright, the final one, definitely not the least. This one is extremely useful for builds that focus a lot on kit performance and also BG builds. So as you can see here, the bonus in space is plus 50 exotic particle generator, so that's cool, and plus 50 kit performance for ground. So yeah. And as you can see, it's my primary specialization for my EBG build. And all of these are just basic bonuses to both space and ground, to a lot of the damage over time abilities, anomaly abilities. So this one is nice, anomaly leash, which allows these following anomalies to tether onto your closest target and slowly move towards them, so they don't stay put. So as you know, anomalies stay for a while and then disappear, and this is nice because you get the, in addition to, for example, gravity while pulling your target towards it, this also pulls itself towards the target. And the highlight here is continuity, which once you reach 10% hull, it quickly teleports you backwards 8 kilometers, and then you get bonus hit points. Well, you get a heal, basically. You get hit points. Here it says 24,800 hit points and 13,000 shield regeneration per facing through. This is nice if you, well, get massively hit, and yeah, saves you from dying. And it also gives you adjustment period, so minus 80% all damage and minus 66.7% flight speed. But if you train temporal adaptation, that negates that, so that's cool. And causal glitch, which reduces all cooldown for bridge officers by 50% when continuity happens. So yep, this is cool. And improved nonlinear progression is the Starship trait. So when you move backwards, so use reverse, it actually gives you bonuses. So as you can see here, after 5 seconds, plus 248 hit points per second, shield regeneration, and your current recharge time of captain abilities is also reduced. So yep, let's quickly go over these once more to tell you exactly which ones are nice for certain types of builds. So Commando, ground builds. Constable, big bosses. Strategist, space builds. Command Officer, exposing your target and torpedo builds, for example. Intelligence Officer, weapon DPS. Miracle Worker, tanking. Pilot, overall fun and going very fast. So this was really fun. Oh right, shield scraping, I forgot to highlight on this one, but yeah, get close to your target, take a little bit of their shields off when you hit them. So yeah, this is dogfighting. And Temporal operative, EBG. So yep, that's it for this video. Oh right, forgot. For the Starship traits, you do not have to have your specialization slotted to be able to use it. So for example, I don't have Constable slotted, but I can put it on, and I have the ability to use that. Same with demolition teams and whatnot. So, and just to make sure that, just in case, you do not have to have the trait, the space trait you get. I'm sorry, the ship you get this Starship trait from on to be able to use it. As you can see, these ones do not come from my ship. You can use these as long as you have them locked. So there's someone that asked me about this, so just to make sure I cover that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and ring the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Helps out the channel quite a lot, and it's free, so why not? Also, you can contribute to my Patreon if you want to. Link in the description, where you also find membership, and my Discord server. If you join, you can talk to fans of myself directly. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye!